Well, hello, traders and investors. My name is Roger Scott, and I'm the head trader for WealthPress. Today is June 26th. It's a Friday. We've had a long week. We've had a GDP report yesterday. We've got unemployment numbers coming up in just a few minutes, which may be the biggest surprise of the week. We've had the first week of earnings, a lot to talk about. And what do I always say? Let's get into it right now. All right, starting with the global markets. Well, they rose Friday. U.S. regulators removed some limits on banks' ability to make investments. Market regained momentum after Federal Reserve and other regulators announced they will ease rules that limit banks' ability to invest in hedge funds. That's really, really positive for the market. The change could help boost bank profits after central bank cut interest rates to almost zero in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Analysts say investors are looking ahead to possible rebound from the deepest global downturn since the 30s and trying to buy companies that will thrive after the pandemic ends. But they warned the market's rise might be too fast and too early to be sustained by an uncertain economic outlook. That probably right there summarized my point of view. I'll read it again. But they warned that market's rise might be too fast and too early to be sustained by uncertain economic outlook. That's where I'm right now. U.S. economy shrank by 5%. That was the GDP report. It was right on target. We went from positive 2% to negative 5%. But that was the estimates. So we were right in line with estimates, not really above or below, right in line with the estimates. And therefore, the numbers were not that off. And the market volatility was very much subdued. The Commerce Department reported yesterday expected a worse decline during the quarter that ends this week. That's actually not true, maybe by 0.1%. The worst expectation was 5.1. So negative 5 was really bad enough. The estimates were 4.9 negative to 5.1 negative, so we were right squarely in the middle. Hospitalizations and reported cases have hit new highs in California, Florida, and Texas. Aren't those the three biggest states in the country? I'm just saying. Which is suspending its aggressive reopening. Not good. The daily numbers of confirmation cases in the country closed in on the peak reached in April. All right. And again, crude oil is still under 40. The reason I'm focused on crude oil being under 40 is because a lot of the U.S. companies, predominantly, cannot function profitably if crude oil is below 40 because they purchase. Their cost is right around the $40 mark. So we got to see crude oil get above 40. Otherwise, big companies like ExxonMobil, Fluor, all these companies are not going to be able to sustain themselves. And they're going to be bleeding a lot like the airline stocks. So that's the report for the week. The S&P 500, and this may be the biggest surprise of the week, is still trading above the 200-day line. It's tethering right on the moving average. We see a descending triangle, but it's still moving. It's still below the line. Now, let's see if the personal income. Now, I wanted to show you the consensus. I want to show you the number before the reach. The consensus was 6.4. Look at the range, -2 to -10. And last time we had +10. I mean, talk about the numbers being all over the place, right? Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. All right, we got the actuals. So the actual numbers were -4.2. They were actually better than the expectations. They were on the upper range of the expectations. The expectations were -10 to -2, -4.2, better than the consensus. Not as good as last time. Last time we were +10.5, but now we're more in line. Consumer spending, on the other hand, is also very much in line on the upper end, close to consensus. So the numbers shouldn't impact the stock market. Now let's look at the futures. The Dow was down about 100-something points beforehand. Let's look at the futures to see. And I specifically timed the report so that the numbers would come out around that time. As you can see here, the numbers really haven't changed all that much. And the NASDAQ 100, the December is up and the September contract is down. Look at the spread right here. There's an opportunity right there, but I'll save that for another day. But that is the biggest surprise of the week, the GDP report and the personal income report. And actually both came in line with estimates. Looking at the rest of the market, looking at the 10 major sectors, we still got consumer discretionary, we still have technology, healthcare is below energy and materials. I'm going to be watching this material sector. And now, since it's Friday, let me give you guys the best stocks the strongest stocks in the NASDAQ, which is still outperforming, and the weakest stocks in the NASDAQ. Top stock, Tesla. Second stock, Melly. Folks, I told you about the stock when it was about $500. It's now around $900. But guess what? It was like 2 months ago. Relative strength. NVIDIA, PayPal, JD. Remember JD has been the top stock for like 3 months now? This is a new one, BioMarin Pharmaceuticals. We're going to have to start looking at this one. This is new on our radar. And this is a new stock on our radar. The rest are more or less in line. Autodesk, one of my top Titan stocks. PayPal, my top Titan stock. Amazon, NetEase. None of these stocks are surprises. The only two surprises I see here is BMRN. Let's take a look. So this may be good for you to put these. Oh, it's a pharmaceutical. Oh, and it's doing really, really well. BMRN. And the other one was ASML. Let's take a look. You may want to add these two to your. Look at that. Let's see what this stock does. I don't even know what this stock does. Technology systems for semiconductors. Look at this 5-year return on revenue. Definitely going to add these to my list. So add ASML and add BMRN to your list. They are slowly creeping up on my NASDAQ 100 strongest stocks list. These are new stocks, and once the stocks pop up here, they have the ability to really, really move. So again, BMRN and ASML. Add these to your list. But again, the biggest reports this week is the income report, the economic report, the income report, and spending report, and the GDP, and they were both in line with estimates. The estimates sucked. They were terrible, but they were in line with estimates, and that means the market should tread right around here. Again, this BMRN and ASML are two new stocks on my watch list. Make sure you add them. Now, I've got something for you folks. It's Friday. It's Friday. This was a crazy week in the markets. I mean, the news and the way the markets behaved it's really interesting. I was expecting more downside from the S&P 500 because of the momentum levels. And I think we are going to drop, but I am really impressed at how resilient the market is, especially the semiconductors and the consumer discretionary, mostly the QQQ. Keep your eye on these BMRN and this ASML stock. Really, keep your eye on it. Now, I got something big for you. Tom Busby, very close friend, legendary fund trader, he discovered a strange phenomenon that's been causing hundreds of stocks to rise in value on the exact same date every single year. This is unreal. When I heard, I've heard about this with commodities, but when I first saw it with stocks, I was like, that's getting a little too. It's real, and it happens. And I didn't have the system to put it together, but Tom did. Tom's been doing this for almost twice as long as I have. And while some of the most elite traders have all confirmed this information, none of them have been able to explain what is going on. Only Tom holds the key, and he plans on revealing everything, including the next stock that could pay out as much as 357+%. You don't want to miss out on this, folks. You really don't want to miss out. Follow the link below. See how you can find these trades now. What Tom has for you is amazing. You guys are gonna love it. I mean, love it. Follow the link now. Check it out. Do it as soon as you can. And the most important part, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye, everyone. Take care.